Hello everyone, my name is Rochelle Innocent and I'm the founder and CEO of Project Purpose. Welcome to our channel. Our community is focused on fostering the intellectual and character development in children. We do this through our parent-child workshops that are focused on 4 themes: autonomy, self-efficacy, compassion, and self-concept, in order to cultivate grit, perseverance, and resilience in each child. And we are so thrilled to be offering one of the first of its kind digital, virtual, and continuous learning environments, enabling parents and children to connect from all around the world. At Project Purpose, our overarching mandate is to renew and rebuild family, community, and relationships. Our different social media platforms provide us with an opportunity to have discussions and to create space for all topics that relate to family, community, and relationships with ourselves as well as with others, with a primary focus on mental health and education. More precisely, the ways that the institutions of mental health and education play a role and have played a role in our societies at large. These discussions and debates provide us with an opportunity to think critically about what needs to change within these structures for us to live up to our bold slogan, support, protect, and empower each child through youth-focused development, better known as leadership in juvenescence. We recognize that in valuing our children's leadership potential, this also translates as recreating and co-creating environments, both socially and politically, that will enable our children to thrive. For those of you who are particularly keen on the topic, we also write thought pieces every other Sunday. We actually have a thought piece that we just dropped this past Sunday, so be sure to meander over to the website and check out our online content. Now, if it is the case that you are looking for a listening alternative, well, we're available on 12 different podcast platforms for your listening leisure, and we've provided you with access to the links in the description down below. Now, as is the convention, be sure to subscribe, hit that post notification bell so that you are aware of every time we post. And of course, if you like these conversations and you want to keep them going, like, comment, and share this segment. Let's get into it. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another segment here on Project Purpose. For those of you who are new, we cover topics that relate to mental health, mental wellness, and education on a week-by-week basis. And today the topic of discussion is mental health. And on the topic of mental health, we're going to be talking about the power of no. We're also going to be talking about the power of no to be able to receive no with grace, as well as to say no with grace. Jumping into the topic, we have so many conversations going on right now about setting boundaries and being clear on expectations and being open and communicative about what it is that we look for in the relationships that we carry, in the spaces that we invest our time and our energy into. And a lot of that involves being very clear about the things that we say no to. And we talk about, empowering ourselves and really sticking to the no and being assertive and being grounded. But we very rarely talk about the flip side, which is how to receive a no with grace, how to avoid being so entitled and so selfish that the no for us is audacious. Like, we can't believe that that person had the audacity to say no to us, when all of us have within our realm of reality, within our rights, the ability, the capacity to say no. And we should feel inclined and we should feel okay to say no when it is something that we don't feel serves us for right now or for whatever period of time, but to feel comfortable saying it without fear of being punished, without fear of reprise, with really seeking to have that no respected. And I find that a lot of the times we have to be really strong about how we can build the capacity to say no, because we all recognize the amount of resistance that people in society today at large receive for saying no. There's just so much issue with hearing the word no, and I think that's because we all feel entitled to people's energy, and that's problematic. So this conversation is really to the people who have an issue with hearing the word no, and I think that it's really important that we carve out why you think that someone stating their boundaries, not being interested in the thing that you put on the table is an offense, and why you're behaving as though it's an offense. And I think the big indicator here for anyone who feels inclined to get really rustled up because they've heard no is it's your ego. Your ego needs to be put on a leash. And I'm sorry if no one else is saying it and I become the bad guy for saying it here. If you have an issue with hearing the word no, if it irritates you, if you feel like, who is this person to say no to me, then you have an ego problem that you need to deal with, because you are the problem that all of us are referencing inadvertently in these videos when we're talking about learning how to articulate a no. in the people around us. And this sense of entitlement is widespread. It doesn't make it any less problematic as behavior. I think it's antisocial behavior to get up in arms because you hear the word no. And no is also an aspect of consent, right? So there's a lot of people who have a hard time saying no when yes means you're really like crossing the bridge into a terrain that you have no business being in without permission. And I think that we really need to be very clear about the fact that there are certain things that when you hear the word no, you stop completely. Like there's no move forward, there's nothing further to the discussion. Like you walk away, and that's still not happening despite how much people are hearing and being enabled and being empowered to say the word no. And because we haven't also on the flip side provided enough periphery on how to receive the no with grace, how to understand that the no is not personal, it's not an insult, it's not a slap, it's really someone just indicating, communicating their boundaries, and that needs to be respected at all times. So I think the next point that I wanted to talk about that I've already kind of referenced outside of entitlement is recognizing when you've breached someone's comfort zone by not adhering to that no. And that's pretty much every time, but there is a scale. For me, there is a spectrum by way of how severe that can be when it's about physical touch, when it's about like taking up someone's personal time. Whenever you hear no in these spaces and you get up in arms and you feel inclined to be punitive or to pursue more aggressively or to do things that indicate that you don't care about the boundary that this person has established, about the fact that you're breaching their comfort zone, and in fact it gives you great pleasure to breach their comfort zone as a way of punishing them because they've had the audacity to say no to you, that's very antisocial behavior. And I think we just need to call it out for what it is, because we're being really very careful with the language that you use around the people who are receiving the no. Like we're being so politically correct about it, but I think we just need to call it what it is if someone says no to you and it makes you angry, then that's antisocial behavior that you really want to look at and you want to deal with so that you're not a problem to be around in society. And this also goes across genders. If your only issue is when you're hearing a no from someone of the opposite or the gender that you're attracted to, and then you decide that there needs to be a path of punishment as a result of that, then you're a problem and you shouldn't be dating if you can't receive no as graciously as you receive a yes with excitement. I think you need to recognize that both of them are an indication of that personal setting boundaries, and that has nothing to do with you. And that has nothing to do with you. It's about them wanting their space to be respected, wanting their words to be adhered to be honored. And why would we want to breach that? Like why would that be something cool? It wouldn't be something cool. So I think that we need to come on here, we need to talk about it, and I think we need to learn to say to the people who are pushing back too aggressively that this is kind of antisocial behavior and I feel uncomfortable. Like let's call it for what it is so that people recognize that their sense of entitlement, that their ego, that their need to punish and to be punitive because they've heard a word that they're not used to is completely inappropriate. And if that wasn't taught to them when they were growing up, well, let's be the society that teaches them that no's are just the thing that you listen to, and it means you stop in your tracks and you pivot your way back to where you came from. And I think that someone needs to just say it directly and just kind of put it out there in the ether, because no one else is talking about the people that are so hard to engage with, because when we say no to them, they simply don't know how to take no for an answer, and it's time for that to change. So that's the topic for today. I hope that gives you food for thought, and if you have your own opinion about the amount of education that we should be providing so that all of us have the ability, have the tools, have the skills to receive a no with grace, to respect people's boundaries without feeling personally slighted, even if we're disappointed. I think that there's a big difference between disappointment and feeling angry because you feel entitled to a yes. I think that is worlds apart. So that's the topic. I would love to hear your point of view. Now, before letting you go, I would be remiss if I didn't let you know that if we will be going live at least twice a month, every month for the foreseeable future on our Facebook page. So definitely be sure to tune in. Now, these events are paid events, so if you do see yourself participating in our community on an ongoing basis, then I do suggest that you take a look at one of our package plans. Yes, so we do offer package plans over and above our live events, as well as access to webinars and workshops, largely focused on self-mastery over and above these events. So make sure you check it out, be part of our game changer community, being part of the change that you want to see, allowing us a small role to play in your journey. We are on the road to 1K, so we invite you all to follow us across all of our social media platforms, and we look forward to chatting with all of you very soon. We'll talk to you later.